The air was heavy with the scent of decay, the sky a dull gray, thick with clouds that threatened rain but never delivered. The street, lined with crumbling houses that had long forgotten warmth, felt like a forgotten world. Silence weighed down like a heavy blanket, broken only by the faint rustle of dry leaves being carried by a wind that had long since lost its purpose. In a desolate, decaying neighborhood, a small, weary cat moves cautiously through the shadows, her fur streaked with dirt, her body trembling with hunger and fatigue. She clutches a precious piece of food in her mouth, the only thing standing between her and despair. With each careful step, she evades the dangers lurking in the harsh light, staying hidden from the world around her. As she rounds a crumbling corner, she catches sight of a human figure standing in the distance, arms raised in frustration. The angry shout of the figure, "Hey! Get back here, you filthy thing!" slices through the still air, making the cat freeze in terror. But there's no time to hide or turn back. Her instincts scream survival, and she faces the next step, knowing every moment brings her closer to danger, yet farther from the hope that sustains her. In the stillness of the abandoned house, a quiet, almost sacred moment unfolds. Amidst the decay and dust, a mother cat has found solace in a forgotten corner. Her soft fur, now more pronounced with the weight of pregnancy, rests gently on a makeshift nest of torn fabric and old, weathered materials. The room around her is a portrait of neglect, cracked walls that have witnessed time's harsh passage, the floor covered in dust and debris. Yet, in the heart of this broken place, there's a fragile tenderness, a quiet miracle. The faintest of sounds emerges from the mother's belly, tiny mews that vibrate through the air, full of hope and promise. Her eyes flutter closed as she listens, her breathing slow and steady. The light that filters through the cracks in the wall is weak, but it casts a soft glow, highlighting the roundness of her belly and the delicate life she carries within. In this abandoned space, a new beginning stirs, fragile, beautiful, and unseen to most. The world outside may be crumbling, but here in this small, dim corner, love and life bloom against the odds. In a cold, harsh world, a mother cat lies exhausted, yet content, cradling her newborn kittens. Her body, still recovering from labor, trembles with fatigue, but her eyes radiate love and protectiveness as she watches over her tiny, helpless offspring. The room is stark, filled with the scent of birth, a reminder of the fragile, delicate nature of life. Her kittens, covered in birth fluid, squirm and mewl as they instinctively search for warmth and comfort. The mother cat, her fur matted from the effort, tenderly licks one of her ginger kittens, cleaning it with gentle, precise strokes. The kitten, still weak, responds with a soft, vulnerable cry, drawing closer to its mother's warmth. In this quiet moment, amidst the rawness of birth, the bond between them deepens, pure, unconditional love in the face of a harsh world. In the dimly lit alley, the mother cat moves with quiet determination, her body visibly tired from the day's struggles. Her coat is ruffled, her movements deliberate, as she sneaks between shadows, staying close to the walls to avoid being seen. The air smells faintly of the city, damp concrete, distant traffic, and the lingering scent of food. She watches the humans in the distance, going about their lives, unaware of her presence. Each step is measured, each breath a quiet plea for survival. Her eyes flicker with a mix of caution and determination. She has learned to navigate these streets, where danger is ever present, but so is the need to protect her family. The weight of her mission bears down on her, food for her kittens. There's no room for failure. A careless neighbor has left scraps behind, discarded with little thought. It's enough. The mother cat darts forward, her paws light and fast, as if the world around her has paused for just a moment. She grabs the food, clenching it tightly in her mouth, then quickly retreats into the shadows. Her heart pounds in her chest as she steals a final glance behind her. The humans remain oblivious, lost in their own world. With a wary but resolute glance, she disappears into the night, the food now a small victory in a relentless battle for survival. Every step she takes for her family. The mother cat's heart races as she approaches the familiar path home, her paws swift but heavy with worry. The smell of dust fills the air, sharp and acrid, masking the scent of safety she usually finds here. Then, a sound cuts through the silence, a distant crash, followed by the deep rumble of machinery. Her fur stands on end as panic seizes her. Ahead, the house, the shelter she had fought so hard to provide for her kittens, is being torn apart. The crumbled walls, now jagged and broken, lie scattered in ruins. Bulldozers move slowly in the distance, their massive wheels crushing everything in their path. The sky is thick with dust, an oppressive gray cloud that hangs over the destruction like a terrible omen. Horrified, the mother cat runs faster, her breath sharp, her pulse thudding in her ears. Her home, her family's sanctuary, is vanishing before her eyes. She must reach them, must protect them, before it's too late. The mother cat bursts into what remains of her home, her body trembling with fear. The once familiar room is unrecognizable. Half the walls are gone, the floor covered in jagged debris. She scans the destruction, her eyes wide, her breath coming in shallow bursts. Every second feels like an eternity as she moves swiftly, her paws digging through rubble, her mind racing with a single thought, her kittens. Then, she hears them, soft mewling, weak but unmistakable. Her heart leaps. She scrambles over the wreckage, pushing aside pieces of broken wood and crumbling plaster. Her eyes dart to where the kittens had hidden. There, beneath the debris, clinging together in the safety of their little corner. Relief floods through her as she gently picks up the first kitten in her mouth, her grip tender but urgent. One by one, she gathers them up, her frantic movements filled with a quiet, fierce determination. No matter the cost, she will keep them safe. The mother cat's heart sinks as she searches one last time, her paws trembling with desperation. Her eyes scan the ruins, but there's no sign of her third kitten. The weight of the loss crashes over her like a tidal wave. She steps back, her face falling in sorrow, the hope that she might find her little one slipping away with each passing second. She cradles the two surviving kittens in her mouth, their soft bodies limp with exhaustion. Her eyes, filled with sorrow, glance one final time at the devastation that had once been her home. A tear forms at the corner of her eye, the grief of the loss pressing down on her chest. Silently, she turns away, her head bowed, the soft mewls of her remaining kittens echoing in the stillness around her. The world seems quieter now, the dust in the air heavy with the sting of a painful goodbye. In the quiet corner of a makeshift shelter, the mother cat sits with her surviving kittens nestled closely together, their tiny bodies curled for warmth. The light is soft, casting a gentle glow over the small, safe haven they now call home. The world outside remains uncertain, but in this moment they are together alive. The mother cat's face is weary, the traces of her hardships still etched in her expression. Her fur is matted, her eyes tired, yet they are filled with a quiet strength. She nuzzles each of her kittens gently, their soft mewls a reminder of the life she fought so hard to protect. As they settle against her, the mother purrs softly, her body a shield of warmth and love. Though the past weighs heavily on her, a glimmer of hope shines in her gaze. There is still a future ahead, and she will fight for it.